Hi, good morning, everyone. I wanted to talk about something that's been on my mind lately as a poet. I've recently had the opportunity of reading The Guardian list of 100 best novels of all time, and one of the things that occurred to me, one thing that jumps out is the exclusions from that list, and I find that to be very interesting. Notably, it speaks to the aversion towards social realism in literature in the contemporary. I think that goes back to the Cold War, the 20th century, and why so much of contemporary literature is mediocre, if I can put it lightly. And you see it really in the work like Mary Oliver, for example. I have to bring that up because I've been talking about Mary Oliver quite extensively. And I think she is one of those writers who is overrated. And it needs to be talked about, honestly. When we talk about great works of literature, great works of poetry, Mary Oliver is not one of those poets who figure highly. Usually, the names that get circulated in great contemporary, well, in great poetry for that matter, is names like Shakespeare, Williams Wordsworth, Dylan Thomas, coming up to the modern period, Robert Frost, Emily Dickinson, just to name a few. But Mary Oliver, I noticed her name is circulating a lot on social media, on TikTok, BookTube, and I don't think is deserved. But anyway, I just brought that up as an example, talk about the social aversion to social realism. And it really comes out in the list of books that the Guardian critics and academics deem to be the greatest. You see it in the absence of books like Harper Lee's To Kill a Mockingbird, Mark Twain's Huckleberry Finn. They all deal with real social issues, like, for example, racism. But it's interesting that those books, which Americans regard as probably their favorite works of literature, have been excluded from the best books of all time. And I think that it speaks to the influence and role of ideology in today's society. Really toxic. And my entry into writing, I hope, really is to have to push back that tide and to show that literary tradition don't necessarily have to be exclusionary or oppressive. You take someone like an Ocean Vuong, who's very popular, and if you look at his views on literary traditions, he has a very antagonistic view towards it. In my entry into writing, I don't necessarily see it as exclusionary. You take something like traditional metrical forms, it's just one way of writing poems. I don't see it as a system of oppression or a system that's exclusionary or a system that is based on widespread, even though there are faults, even though there are histories of exclusion and marginalization. I don't come to traditional meter as a poet to that way. I see it just as another tool, another way of expressing oneself as a writer, as a poet. So that's just one of some of the things that's on my mind, literally, and I wanted to give an expression to it. So if you like this kind of content, I'll appreciate if you give me your thoughts. But it's something that I think needs to be discussed a whole lot more. not just in the world of poetry, but literature in general. And I think something really, something instructive is happening right now, and it needs to be talked about honestly. And I don't think it's getting an honest appraisal. So, yeah, thanks.